Okay, so this is going to be how to write up a listing agreement. So you should already be in your transaction for this and already have your listing template set up. So the purpose of this is just to go over it with you and to fill it out. So first you're going to see your disclosure regarding real estate, and you're going to go down here. You're going to put your seller's name. So let's just say that their name is Mike Smith and Judy Smith. So you type that in. Make sure this is the company BRE number is filled in, your name, your BRE number. Now again, you can be doing this on the cover sheet, and this will auto-fill into this information as well. So I'm going to scroll down. You have your possible representation. And when you're at your listing, you are explaining that this could be potentially that there's a possibility another home, same model for a listing, could call you to have you list that property, or it could also mean that there's a possibility that you could end up representing both buyer and the seller. So you have to explain what that form is for. Okay, then property address in here. We're going to put 123 Main Street. Now, actually, we'll just do this Live Oak Circle. We'll do that one. Okay, although I didn't fill it all out. Okay. Okay, so then we have that information in here. So this kind of went too far. So we have, I want to go back to the possible buyer representation. Okay, so there's possible representation. Got their names. Scroll down for the wire fraud. Again, this is super important to explain to your sellers about what's going on with wire transfers. Typically, the seller is going to go to the title company, and normally they'll bring in their checking account to say where they want their proceeds of their sale to go to. This has really become more important to a buyer. This is where you really have to explain to the buyer to be very, very careful about wire fraud, and should they receive an email from the title company about wiring instructions, they probably want to pick up the phone, and not the number that may be on the email, but maybe a number you've given to them separately to call to verify that wire number. Okay. So again, it's already filled out with our seller's information. So listing agreement. Okay. Date prepared. Okay, so let's say today's June 1st, okay? But that's the date that we met with the clients. Doesn't mean it's the time it's going to go on the market. Okay, so it's saying, okay, here's where our clients are here, the company. Now let's say they want it on the market. Let's say they want it on the 24th. Okay, so we're going to put that there. Okay. And then I typically, or my listings are usually 90 days. So I'm going to scroll back up again to the calendar. So for June, we're going to, sometimes the calendar is not very easy to do on here. So I'm going to do July, August, September. Okay, so I'll do September 24th. Okay. Now, the catch is this. If you go on the market June 24th, that's what your contract says. But then you get a call that the painters are delayed due to whatever reason, and you're really not going to go on the market till June 28th, past 3 days. Then you need to do another form, and you can contact me for that. But it's a MLS waiver that has to be submitted to the MLS office, okay, so that you don't get in trouble for that. So, particular, this is in Placer County, right here. Now, if this was a mobile home listing, you would check the box here, okay? So here's where you're going to put in the listing price. So more than likely when I'm going to my listing appointment, I don't necessarily have a price in here unless I already know for a fact what my clients have already discussed, okay? So on here, I'm going to just go ahead and put $500,000. Nice thing is it types it all out for you. So it's really nice. Okay. Listing terms, you can put in here that this is can be canceled anytime in writing prior to going into escrow. If you were going to do a rebate somehow, like you were doing a buy and a sell, you might put information on this line for that. Okay, so on that down here, you've got your commission. So you've got your broker's professional fee at 6%. So that's already in there. And again, if they were saying to you, hey, if I'm going to buy and sell, then I would put some wording in here, some language that says, I'm going to take a listing at 6%, but I'm going to rebate you 1% on your buy side. Because I've had it where they said, okay, we're going to use you to buy and sell. So then I sell their home, discounted it, and then 6 months later I get this phone call, we bought a house, and I gave away it. So now, and I do it up for in my terms when I do that, I'm going to put in there for up to 12 months. Okay. Also up here, the parcel number, you're going to need that. You'll find that on your tax sheet through your MLS portion. And if you need help with that, let me know. Okay, so we're going to go down here. Okay, so this is what's important to go over a little bit with you guys. This 365 information that you see here, what I'm doing is saying that if they cancel the contract or if they it just runs its time after September, that I'm going to give them a list of potential buyers that came through their home that might have been serious within 3 days of the time that it either canceled or expired. And what this is saying is within a 365-day period, if any of those buyers whose names I've given to you purchase the home during my marketing period, I have the right to collect the broker professional fee. Okay, so that's what that 365 stands for. Okay. Down here, we have, again, our 2.5. Make sure you check that box for me because I will reject it if it's not checked. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to go up. So this 365, again, here it talks about, prior written consent, if the property is withdrawn from the sale, then it talks about that you'll give compensation within a certain time frame. Okay, so read that through so you understand it. Okay, if you're doing a flat fee, so for example, if you're doing a mobile home, you can put, this could be a flat fee rate as well. So keep that in mind. Same at the top here under the 6%, you could do a flat fee as well. Okay, so let's say the total compensation is going to be $6,000. So $3,000 to you, $3,000 to the buyer's agent. You would put $3,000 on this line, and then you would go down here and put $3,000 on this line. Okay. This part here is saying that if that they haven't been in contract with another agent, or they don't have another clause like we just talked about, maybe they were listed before and they no longer they canceled their other listing with a previous agent. Make sure you see a copy of that listing agreement that it actually did expire, or there was an email that said that they had let this go. Typically, if it's withdrawn from MLS, that's another way of knowing. Okay, so that's two ways of knowing it. The other part about this compensation, make sure you ask that buyer, or the seller, did they give you a list of interested parties? If they did, you have to fill this out. So if it was, Jack Stone, okay. So what happens is you actually have to put this in the MLS that these are called excluded buyers, which means that the previous agent is actually going to get the compensation for that. So, and when we put in MLS, they're considered an excluded buyer, which lets another agent know that, hey, you're not going to get paid on this. Okay, so that's what that's all about. Items excluded. So if you guys remember when you were getting your license, the old Maria method of attachment. So things that you should be asking about are curtain rods, curtains, especially if they match their bedding. Chandeliers or any special light fixtures, shelves, even big shelves, even though it looks decorative, some technicality to the way it's bolted in, it could be considered it's staying the way it's been attached. Okay, so you want to make sure you ask those kinds of questions. Same things included. Are they leaving the fridge? Are they leaving the washer and dryer? Anything that they may be including, cabinets that might be in the garage, anything like that. Okay. So now you'll go down below to these leased or not owned systems. So you want to make sure if they have solar. That's always a big red flag. Is the solar leased? Well, what kind of solar system is it? If it's Solar City, who's now Tesla, those are the easiest solar companies to work with. They are transferable to the buyer. If they're a PACE system or what they call Hero, which is actually a lien against the house, the buyer cannot, that cannot be transferred to the buyer. What happens is the seller has to pay that off in full, and the lien has to be released. So be very careful about the solar stuff. Alarm systems, ask them if they're, if they own their system, or are they in a some of them have 2-year leases on those. So you need to ask those kind of questions. So again, it talks about the lien items. These windows and doors were part of Hero and PACE as well. There was an energy efficient program that they went in, put in on the windows. They would put in a water heater. They put in all these different things under this energy program. But again, it caused a lien on the home. Always really important that if you know you're going to get when you get the listing and you've got some time, I highly recommend, I always call my title company. I pre-open my escrow. I order my Valley NHD, which you do through our admins, by the way. The title companies don't do it with Valley NHD. Our admins do that for you. But what I do order from the escrow company is a copy of the prelim, because I want to see, number one, is it in a trust? And I also want to see if there's any liens on the property. Okay, so you can come see me about those. So Metro List, if you're in the Sacramento area, if that's where your listing's taking place, more likely you're going to put in Metro List. This opting out. So what this little square box is about is, in a hot market, there was times where our offices would literally just sell the property within our own office, agent to agent. And what was happening is, let's say I had a listing at $600,000, and I tell one of my agents in the office, in an office meeting, I've got it coming soon, and I say, hey, I've got this property coming up. I give the details, and the agent comes to me and says, hey, I've got a perfect buyer for it. Can we make an appointment? You show him the house. Buyer says, I love it. It's not even on MLS yet. You guys made the agreement. They'll buy it at $600,000. So what this was saying was it wasn't going to to the public. So it wasn't maybe fair market value, and consumer beware that they may have gotten more money for their house had it been to the open market. So that's what this is explaining. Even if you are putting it in MLS, you still have to explain this to them, read the paragraph, and they have to sign it. This area here for broker, you actually initial here. So I know this is broker, but it's really you. So you're going to initial there. Okay. MLS rules, again, this is talking about earlier, if you're going to be more than 2 days from the time you said you're going to be on the market, then you got to get a waiver and send that to me. I have to sign it, and then I send it to MLS on your behalf. Okay. Seller representation, just you need to go over that your seller is going to tell you everything they know about the house, and I jokingly say, tell me everything the neighbors know about your house. Okay. So that's what that stands for. So you want to go over that with them. You got to let them know their home is going to be on different websites as well. That's what some of this stuff is. It's just saying, hey, you're going to be on internet, and you don't have any control, what gets put out there by third parties. That's what this automated estimate of value, that's kind of that zestimate, so to speak, that we have no control over that. You got to let your clients know, because they will call you and say, hey, it's saying my house is worth this. You need to change it, and we really don't have an opportunity to do that. Okay. Another thing on listings, if you're going to have a pest report done ahead of time, you'll be clicking any of these boxes. Dual agency, you guys remember what that is. Talk to them about signs, if there's going to be a sign.